Okay, Lucy, what have you got? And we should just make note that Lucy does have experience of parenting now.
I do not.
Sorry, what?
Don't make out. No. Okay, I have got this thing that I found online. I don't know how true it is, but when I first read it, it actually made me a bit teary because I thought there's a lot of people out there that parent like this. So I'm going to read it to you really quickly. So basically it said, so let me tell you about the shittest parent on the motherfucking planet.
Okay.
Hang on.
Whoa.
Look, it's needed. Okay? Let me read this to you and you'll see why it's needed.
Okay, so on to question 2. Let's get to some lighter stuff. Although it does start quite sad because, unfortunately, JLS have announced that they are breaking up after 5 years of top tunes. Our musical hearts will never beat again.
We see what you did there.
What does JLS actually stand for? Did we not discuss this the other day?
Juicy lover slut.
JLN.
Is it Julian Lloyd Stanley, your long-lost cousin? Emma, greatest smuggler.
Well, I thought about this for a while and I decided that I was going to utilise my local knowledge and tell you the tale of the Moonrakers. Basically, this is a local legend pretty much. There were a group of men who were smuggling, I believe it was French brandy, up the country, come from the coast originally, and they'd hidden the barrels in the bottom of a pond. Now, as they were trying to rake the barrels out, the customs and excise men decided they were going to pay a visit and asked the rather suspicious-looking locals what was going on. Now, being clever as all Wiltshire folk are, they quickly looked and saw that the moon was reflected in the pond and pointed this out to the customs and excise men and said, "We're trying to rake in that giant cheese."
That's genius.
So, of course, they were stupid locals and they got the booze and the money. And that is why Wiltshire folk are referred to as moonrakers.
Nice. I like that story a lot. It's completely ludicrous, but I like it.
Of course it's ludicrous. It's local legend.
Oh, the joys of Swindon.
I don't live in Swindon. When will you accept this?
Never. On 10 points at the back, it's Tony.
The fuck? 10 points? How am I at the back of the pack? What? Bullshit.
That's just dropped me down to 9.
I don't even care.
At the back on 9, it's Tony. Mums, not to be confused with Mumsnet, have said that peer pressure and image issues are to blame for children's parties hitting costs of up to £800. So what is your best tip to cut costs for a children's party? Tony?
Don't bloody have children. It's straightforward. It's as easy as that. Don't have children. And if you do, if your excrement somehow falls out of you and produces this little offspring beast, don't treat it like it's a princess. It's just a little runty person. But yes, just don't have them. And if you do have them, make sure they know that they're just a sack of meat like the rest of us. For God's sake.
Before the gods in Greek mythology, there were Titans, and the leader was Cronus. And he was frightened by this prophecy that he was destined to be overthrown by his own sons. So every time his wife gave birth, Cronus would eat the baby, because abstinence was clearly out of question. And after she got pregnant with this for the 6th time, Cronus' wife decided that she was tired of this, it was weird, and she wrapped a stone in a blanket, pretended it was a new baby, and gave it to Cronus to eat. And this plan went off without a hitch, because of course it did. And the surviving baby was the Greek god Zeus. And Zeus was sent off into hiding and raised by a goat. And when he grew up, Zeus poisoned Cronus, forcing him to vomit the devoured children, and who became the gods Demeter, Hera, Hestia, Hades, and Poseidon. And they released some other titans Cronus had imprisoned, and there was a big war, and Cronus was overthrown, and the gods took over the universe. And so I know they're gods, but the 5 of them were regurgitated, and the other was raised by a goat, so I think that's a pretty good victory.
Jesus, Dennis!
I could never have completed with that.
No,
And there's loads of weird, dark paintings of Cronus eating his children, so I quite like it.
Why did it take her 5 babies to work out that Cronus eating babies was a bit weird?
I don't know, I think the whole stone plan was a bit of a long shot, so I think maybe she was getting a bit desperate. It worked though.
Yeah, I like that story.
I do.
Is it always this light-hearted?
Not unless Edgar's on. If Edgar's on, it does
Yeah.
tend to go quite dark. Question number 5. Richard Branson dressed up this week as an air hostess on one of his Virgin flights after losing a bet with Tony Fernandez. But who do you think would make a decent air hostess? And this is just a one name at the time, people. So, Carla.
You. Sorry, you always look good in a suit. I think you'd love kind of looking the part. Sorry.
Jenny.
You say one.
Beware the Duncan. Edgar is back.
I will break all of you.
Hello. Hola, hola, hola.
He's gone all Malvolio on us.
Hello, it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
So you eager to win today? Against a newbie and Chris Stanley.
I have full faith that I'm going to lose.
Ed, you've beaten me twice. In both
But
times.
Loz is full of epic as well, so he's...
Yeah, Loz could out Welsh us all, including Mac.
Sorry, was I supposed to be Welsh for this one? I tell you what, right, I prepared some cracking answers. Done a lot of research. Been down the library for about 6.5 hours I have, and...
I bet that cost you $40. $40, Loz.
I load it into water.
Alright, shall we begin then?
Yeah.
Bang tidy.
The Asteroid 2012 DA14, which you may have heard about, came close to Earth on February 15th this year, and it was pretty much a very close call before it actually hitting down onto Earth itself. If it did hit, it was a narrow miss, by the way. If it did hit, it would have impacted about 2.5 megatons worth of energy, and probably would have caused a mass amount of pain for everyone.
5 megatons.
2.5 megatons of energy.
That's a lot. When you consider that an elephant weighs, what, like 4 tons maybe?
That's a Gallic gun.
So
that's a Gallic gun.
I'm trying to work this out in elephants. That's how I measure everything. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm just imagining like a massive pile of elephants now crashing to Earth, and that was my chair. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think the Earth currently has 2.5 megatons of elephants.
I don't know about that, Chris. I don't know.
I do like the idea of elephants coming into the geosynchronous ring and then just destroying everything, though.
Coming into the geosynchronous ring. Okay, fine.
Who doesn't on a Friday night? Will no one think of the poor Beckham children with their increasingly ridiculous names? I give you Brooklyn. Sounded stupid at the time. Kind of okay. Romeo. Bit cheesy, but we'll take it. Cruz. C-R-U-Z. That's an island, I think. And lastly, Harper 7. Harper 7. That's a password. Or...
For a sci-fi yet to happen, yeah.
Yeah, some sort of manga. It is not a name.
You can now get into
still
Dave
not...
Beckett's email.
Yeah.
Wasn't Brooklyn named after where he was conceived? I reckon they all were. So Brooklyn was conceived in Brooklyn. Romeo was conceived in the auditorium during a Shakespeare performance. Cruz was conceived on a cruise. And Harper 7 was conceived whilst watching Harper 7. Which I decided...
Watching Shakespeare would either make his brain melt or he'd heckle something stupid like, Victoria, what do they do with those daggers to that emperor guy?
Well, I went down the factual route. I actually looked up a news story because I don't really have any bad first aid of my own. So I came up with a news anchor in America, North Dakota, called AJ Clement. I'm not going to say what he said, but he literally got fired on his first day because about 3 seconds into being on air, he uttered the F and the S word. I could repeat it, but I've been told I'm not allowed.
Fine, I have a sound effect for it.
Oh, I'm not gonna.
So we can say shit and fuck anytime we want.
But yeah, so apparently he didn't realise his microphone was on, but he basically got fired because they're told as news anchors to always assume that the microphone is on. He got fired. I think that's a pretty bad start, really.
Well, I went with the sea pig. Now, I studied these sea pigs by looking at land pigs, and they look completely different. Well, the sea pig's a kind of sea cucumber, and to defend themselves, they excrete their respiratory organs all over the attacking animals. Needless to say, they're confused. So I was just thinking, if I end up getting mugged when I go back to Reading eventually, and my default is to drop my trousers, turn around, and shit my lungs all over them, I don't know what's going to happen to me.
That's
It just might work.
That's not a mental image I needed.
Our resident parrot harasser and part-time Tom Jones impersonator, it's Loz Shanahan.
It's not unusual to be... Sorry. You said it.
You cured the squeaky chair now.
Not quite. Oh, it seems
Get
to
on
be a bit
it,
better. No. I think it's fine.
That's good. Let's
Not
get on with
squeaking.
the show. Norway's record lottery winner purchased a 25% share of a player for his local football team in order that they could keep hold of him. But who would you pay money for in order to keep them where they currently are now? Loz.
I've actually got two answers to this, if that's okay.
Okay,
I will keep it brief. The first I would say is Miranda Hart. Let's keep her on BBC Two. Is she on BBC Two? BBC One. Let's keep her on the BBC.
Ask Emma, she's her double.
Well, this
Can
is
I
it.
vote against this? Because
No,
if
no,
you
I'm
keep
not
her on
saying
TV, I'm going to have permanent ridiculing for all the time she's on television.
But listen, we need more ridiculous, tall, mad, clumsy people on TV. I'm not photogenic enough. You're too busy, so it's going to have to be either Miranda or several short people stood on top of each other. Which might actually work better. Why? It'll be more work for short people. It'll be fantastic.
My first answer is Jesus. I was talking to people in Bristol.
Can I just keep them where they currently are? Where is Jesus currently?
He's all around us.
He's ascended. He's bodily in heaven. I was talking to a group of people in Bristol, and they swear this is true. I had a really educational afternoon on the streets of Bristol, where many things can be learned. And they said that Jesus is coming back soon, and it'll be then the end of the world, and the dead will rise, and that sounds really inconvenient. So I'd pay money to push that back.
I don't think Jesus is going to take money for that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that you can pay money to keep Jesus ascended. I think he would not look kindly upon your money. He would consider it bribery and he'd be
It's another
unimpressed.
film premieres and a wacky comedy.
But how would you?
Would you try to pay off Jesus?
It comes after Bruce and Evan Almighty.
But how would you use all that money to keep Jesus where he was? Because as Emma said, he's not going to take a bribe, is he? How are you gonna do that?
Well, I'd ask the many various churches who seem to think that money is very important and very usable. I could pay the Pope. He might have a word, direct line. I have nothing interesting to say about pole dancing. I pay to pole dance. I got it the wrong way around.
You pay to pole dance, Loz got paid to pole dance, and Emma can't find a pole long enough.
Emma was the pole. we used to work together. It was really, really weird.
It's bizarre double act.
Terrible.
Just me and then Loz in tiny hot pants swinging around me. It was just
Pole
bizarre.
dancing does not fit with our next topic.
I think it probably does. That's what Matt Baker does these days.
We can try.
Peter are looking for a new presenter. So why would you be perfect for the role, Loz?
Well, like Matt Baker, I'm an ex-pole dancer. No, I wouldn't. Is my answer to this. I don't. There's so many reasons why I wouldn't. I don't like kids. I'm slightly frightened of large dogs. All of my arts and crafts projects look like someone fed a lot of stationery into a small horse and then just sealed the resultant mess in glitter. I can't hear the phrase sticky black plastic without thinking it's some kind of new Durex product. There's a boat in the logo and I get seasick. There's so many reasons why I wouldn't be good at this. And I don't think there's any point in watching Blue Peter anymore now that Matt Baker's not on it. You might as well just go and watch Countryfowl, which is basically Blue Peter with slightly fewer coals. Oh, and I posed this question to my dad, and he told me that I didn't have the charisma. So to be honest with you, Mac, this is just a really, really depressing question, reminding me of all of my inadequacies, and I'm going to go and drown my sorrow through a mile of vodka.
Jenny.
I don't like children either, but that's why I'd be good at it. Because children are like cats. They will decide to adore the one person in the room who doesn't want their attention. So I'd be really popular. They pick up on the hate and they feed off of it.